Welcome back, Legionaries, to Legions of Miniatures. Today I'm Lander, and I'm joined by my good friend James for the second game in the Reign of a Million Years campaign, Settra Conquers. Now, today's game is an interesting little battle where 2,000 points of orcs is coming up upon a beleaguered Priest King expedition or conquest force. James will be taking control of the Tomb Kings to begin with, and will receive surprise reinforcements from Settra. What's some of the interesting things that you've seen in this battle plan, James?
I'm interested to see how the two Tomb Kings armies on the same side yet compete each other for points, how that system works out. And I'm also interested to see how the Tomb Kings work without all the banners and upgrades attached to them, so playing them as basic as possible.
Yeah, all the Tomb King armies, Orc armies, they're all playing without any magic items or upgrades, so it's purely just bodies, and that should be really interesting to see. But let's not take any more time than necessary, and let's jump straight into the lore and see you guys on the battlefield. After Settra had awakened and conquered his capital of Khemri, it fell upon him to march out across the sands in the lands of Nehekhara and ensure that all the priest kings that have risen up and vied for conquest over the ancient kingdom were brought under his heel. His battles fought him from the distant south, across to the west, up to the northern shores, and even so far as towards the perimeter of the Badlands, a land where he once held great many battles, fighting off the greenskins from his empire, and even pushing the borders of Nehekhara far beyond anything that they exist in the modern day. There, Settra may well have come upon one of the priest kings of Khemri, and when he did so, he would have had to take that king to battle in order to assume the control and fealty of that royal. Indeed, he may even well have come upon orcs. In today's battle, we will observe one such conflict, where Settra the Imperishable will come to the aid of a priest king, and in doing so, secure his territory. But as with the hubris of many of the priest kings, what would have happened if said priest king refused to kneel before the Imperishable? We'll find out in today's battle. Today, as it's hot as the sand of Nehekhara itself in the UK, we are playing the next game of Settra Awakens. We've got the battlefield here today representing the edge of the Badlands, so we've got a nice couple of craggy hills with a road passing through it that represents the pathway that might exist, leading old Nehekhara up to its ancient holdings in the north, near what would now be called the Border Princes. A forest exists in the far distance over there, and the little pillars that exist, or obelisks rather, all across the border, considered impassable terrain, giving us some interesting little movement shenanigans to consider. The Priest King's army stands opposite. Let's talk us through it, please, James.
Okay. Starting with one's Tomb Scorpion, not ambushing. We've got 2 units of skeletal warriors, one with thrusting spears, one with hand weapons, the detachment of skeletal archers. We have a Necrosphinx. We have the Tomb King on Necrolyth Bone Dragon. This will be with a cavalry spear and shield. A unit of 3 Ushabti with great bows, 4 skeletal chariots. For this army, this priest here will be the Hierophant.
In the Orcs army, its left-hand flank is secured by a boar chariot with the hill next to it being occupied by artillery pieces in a rock thrower, rock lobber, and a doomdiver catapult. The center of the battlefield is secured by a regiment of goblins and a regiment of orcs with throwing spears. Then we have a bone grinder giant and a small group of stone trolls. Off to the side, we've got the right-hand flank secured by a giant boar chariot, spider riders, and a block of boar boys. The boar boys are led by a big boss with a war boss with 2 hand weapons occupying the boy squad. Next to the boys is a orc shaman, a odd knob, who has 3 spells taken from the Wa. First turn in this scenario automatically goes to the Tomb Kings as they try to fight down the Orc army to its breaking point, at which stage the Priest King and Settra will turn upon each other and seek victory over the other. Let's get into the movement for Settra's army, or the Tomb Kings, turn 1. And so here we are at the end of the Tomb Kings movement phase. We've just got a general advance across the board with the flying creatures hopping over the line. And most interestingly, Settra's army has arrived on the flank here. The Tomb Guard occupy this position with Settra and his chariots of the Tomb Guard chariots moving up, and the Ushabti Greatbows holding back, ready to open fire. With that, we are going to discuss any shooting that might happen in the Tomb King's army. What have we got, James?
So we've got 8 shots from the skeletal chariots going into the flock of Orc boys.
What else?
We're going to have 3 Ushabti. I will check they're in range. Yes, they'll be going into the Bone Grinder Giant.
Okay.
And that is everything.
Excellent. So, presumably those Ushabti over there?
The 30 inches.
Are just out of anything they can see because they're not a large target.
Okay.
Okay. So, nothing too exciting in the shooting there. We'll come back to you with what has died as a result. Fails to wound all across the board. Good hits, but no wounds. So, we are heading into the top of Orcs turn 1. In my command phase, it was quite simple. We threw a dice roll for here we go to give these guys in this area around his sort of 7 or 8 inch command range. I'll confirm exactly which it is, but basically this area here, an extra D3 modifier to its charge rolls and an extra 3 inches away that it can declare the charge. He also then tried to cast Evil Sun Shining, which was successful, once again giving nearby units that extra bit of AP, but as well as re-rolling ones to wound. Sorry, to hit, pardon. So I've got a nice little buff center over here. I don't think we're going to be calling any wars this particular turn, but charges could be a little bit more interesting. So we'll come back to you once I've measured some up and decided what to do. Okay, so the only charge that we can declare, because this is like a millimeter out of being able to charge into these skeleton chariots, is the big boss and his boy squadron going into Settra, engaging the king of Nehekhara straight away. Should be quite interesting. We don't need much of a charge, so we've got a 6 on the charge roll, plus a Swift Stride modifier of 2, so that's 8 so far, plus a D3 from here we go, an extra 2. So 10 inches on top of that movement of 7 is 14, which is comfortably enough. So they will charge across there and into Settra, after which movement is going to be very similar to what the Tomb Kings did in just advancing forwards. So we'll come back to you in just a moment. I do apologize, I forgot to do a stupidity check for my trolls. So they have failed their stupidity check. No, they've passed the stupidity check because they've got the leadership of the war boss nearby, who is leadership 7. So that's a success. So Spider Riders have basically stayed still. They've got the lines of sight for shooting they want into those Tomb Guard. The Giant has moved up to face them. Orcs obviously went in, as we said. We've had this whole advance here. The Trolls, having passed their stupidity, are positioning for a flank charge. The Goblins are preparing to receive an overrun from if something kills the Giant, and the Giant has stepped forwards to proudly try to strike down one of the more powerful monsters there. Objects on the hill remain stationary as they need to do some shooting, and the Boar Chariot has just postured a tiny little bit to deal with the oncoming Tomb Scorpion. Shooting-wise, it's going to be quite basic. I lack a lot of shooting over here, so the Spider Riders will be firing into the Lich Guard, not the Lich Guard, sorry, the Tomb Guard. And, you know, Lich Guard as a unit name feels like something which should be in Tomb Kings, right? Like an elite upgrade for a Tomb Guard, like Lich Guard. I'm liking that. I'm going to coin it.
Heavy cavalry unit.
Yeah, there you go. That goes with the new Tomb King models. Anyway, over here, we're going to have our Rock Lobber and Doom Diver. They're going to fire into the Necro Sphinx because it's the nastiest thing in that area and try and pink some wounds onto it. So let's, while we're on the camera, go ahead and do the Doom Diver into the Necro Sphinx. So we'll roll this on the table because it's easier to read. Misfire.
A misfire of a 3. We will resolve that later. I'm pretty sure that's a crewman gets garmed up inside the mechanism and it's not allowed to fire for a turn. So I'll turn him around and we'll kill off that little snotling that probably caused the issue, if I'm being honest. And then we'll look at the rock lobber, also into the Necrosphinx. 10 inches overshot. So that's going to be a pretty wild miss, I think. What do you reckon, James? Is that going to possibly clip the...
1 point each.
1.5, isn't it? Yeah, so probably not.
That's going to miss.
Excellent. And then we will roll up the goblin spiders off camera because they're not likely to do much. So, completely fluffed at the spiders. We didn't even get a single poison result. So, the only thing left is this shaman here to throw Vindictive Glare. That is a 2 and a 6 is an 8 plus 2 for himself is 10 on the casting roll. Do you want to try and stop that, James?
Yes, I will. I will fated it because I'm out of range.
Nope, no fating will happen here. So we are looking at a strength 7 hit that is a 2 to wound. That is a wound only, just no armor saves or are permitted, but a regeneration save will be allowed. So we need to work out how much damage is done first. 1 wound of damage. So James comes in with a successful regeneration save. We're moving into the fight phase now, and we have the battle between the Orc Raiders and Settra the Imperishable. I see no reason to declare a challenge.
I will not issue a challenge.
You're not going to issue a challenge. You're going to slaughter the Boys, are you? Excellent.
Yes.
So then it comes to a matter of initiative order. What's Settra's native initiative?
3.
So given that Orcs are at least initiative 3, and we've charged, the Orcs will go first. So we'll start with the big boss. The big boss has a cavalry spear, and being a fighty character, he's got 3 attacks. Does the big boss get Furious Charge?
Yes.
So that'll be 4 attacks on the charge. Weapon skill is 6 against Settra's 7.
Yes.
And so we have secured a single hit. Do choppers let me reroll hit rolls?
No, that's wound rolls.
We might have run outside of the range of Here We Go as well. Not Here We Go, pardon. Evil Sun Shining, so we will not get to reroll those ones. Strength of an orc, big boss is strength 4.
Cavalry Spears takes it 5.
Yep, so that will be wounding Settra, presumably on a 4. Is he toughness 5?
T5.
Cool. That is a fail, but the choppers rule will let us re-roll that into a 6. So that is a nice and tasty AP -2 hit on Settra. So a 6-up armor save is failed, a 5-up ward save is failed, and a 5-up regeneration save is also failed. Settra has taken an wound. After that, it's into the regular Boys themselves. They're 1 attack each. We've got the champion for the 4th attack. They don't have Furious Charge, I shouldn't reckon.
They do.
They do. Oh, nice and tasty. Weapon skill 4 from an orc?
3.
3?
For the War Boys.
Okay. And Settra is 7, you said?
Yes.
So 5s to hit. That is 4 successful hits. And these are strength.
3 base plus 1 for the cavalry sphere. Strength 4.
5s to wound. Rerolling 1s, there are no 1s, but that is 2 wounding hits at AP -2. So 6s, 5s, and 5s. Ooh, 1 saved. Failed. Saved. Settra remains alive. However, I have managed to do 2 wounds to him, one of which was regenerated. So that means that the combat resolution is currently sitting on 2 in my favor. The last thing to consider is 4 attacks from the boars, resulting in 2 successful hits. And these are an extra strength on the charge, don't they? But that's still going to be 6s to wound. 1 6 there, AP -1 from Tusker Charge. Means a failed armor save. A successful ward save, however.
Weapon skill 7, I'll be hitting on 2s.
Going into the main unit. Excellent.
Main unit. So that is 4 hits. Strength 6, so 2s to wound. So that is 3 at AP -3.
Cool. These guys are heavy armor, light armor, shield, and boards for a 4-up armor save. AP minus what?
3.
-3. So there's no save to be had on those ball boys. That'll be 3 of them dead.
I have 4 attacks from the horses on weapon skill 2, so hitting on 4s. All hit. That's strength 3 on toughness 4, so 5 to wound. 1 wound at no AP.
So 4 armor save. Made. This brings the final combat score to it's going to be 3 in your favor, and you don't have any other sources of combat resolution on Settra.
No.
I have scored 2 wounding hits, but I also have a banner, but not enough for only 3 models remaining to call a close order. Therefore, this is a tied combat, and it will persist into future turns. At the end of the first turn, it is a nice posted battlefield. This is going to become very bloody and brutal in the next, I would say, 30 seconds, right, James?
Yep.
So we will come over to Tomb King's turn 2. Settra has healed himself and managed to put an aura of +1 weapon skill around himself. Also, coming in with Dijaf's cursed incantation of blades, or some of those words in whatever order they match, which means that people around him have got reroll 1s to hit. So this is going to be a nasty fighting block. Moving across, we come to our first Hierophant, who also managed to successfully cast the cursed incantation of blades or whatever. And over here, the Tomb King managed to cast or use My Will Be Done, granting himself an extra weapon skill this round. In the back there, the Hierophant failed his casting roll, but in essence, all the success of the Orcs in turn 1 has been undone, and now they lie at the Tomb King's mercy. So, how will that mercy be exercised, James? What charges are we looking at?
Okay, first charge will be skeletal chariots into the Orc boys.
Okay.
We're going to put the Necro Sphinx into the giant.
All right.
I think we might even get the Tomb Scorpion in there.
Interesting. Anything else?
Let's see. It's going to be a longbow, but we're going to charge the dragon into the rock lobber.
Oh, okay. I hadn't expected that. Really fun moment that just happened over here. The goblins in the rock lobber failed their terror check and thus fled just out of range of the dragon trying to chase them down. Though, let's be honest, a goblin rock lobber, that's not coming back at this point. Everything's in the middle here, and the tomb skeleton chariots rather managed to get into the orcs without issue. So in the shooting phase, this largely limits James's options. He doesn't have a lot of line of sight. Can I guess that those Ushabti bows are going into the trolls?
Yes, they'll go into the trolls.
And those ones over there,
they've got movement to go.
Oh yes, we've got the movement phase to do still, but presumably they will try and get some line of sight on this chariot here.
Get them further up the hill.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll come back to you once movement has been done, and I don't suspect there'll be anything exciting in the shooting phase. We might even do the shooting phase at the same time. So across the movement in the shooting phase, the enemy has moved forwards. In the shooting phase, an elemental spirit here was summoned by the Hierophant. And then arrows from various bits and bobs managed to put 2 wounds onto the stone trolls, bringing 1 down to a wound remaining. And the Ushabti Great Bows managed to take 2 wounds off of the Orc chariot here. This will then bring us into the fight phase. What's the fight you're most excited for here, James?
I think we're going to go with this one here. With the skeleton chariots.
That's the one you're most excited for?
Yes.
Here we have the fight between the skeleton chariots and the Orc boys with the Orc war boss in there. So what's your initiative's going to be 5, isn't it?
Okay, so the skeletal chariots, they get to do their impact hit, D3 impact hits each. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are strength 4 on toughness 4, so 4 to wound. That is 4 wounds.
We will be using our hand weapons and shields for parry.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's 4 at no AP.
So 4 armor saves. Is it 4? Yes, 4 armor saves. So that's 3 of them saved, and 1 goes through on the Orc boys.
You've got light armor and hammer and shield.
Yep.
I'm going to be initiative 5, the same as your war boss, so it would strike at the same time.
Okay, so red is the Tomb Kings on that dial. and green is the orcs, because green is orcs. So if we're doing Tomb Kings and War Boss at the same time, it's your turn. I'll let you take first swing.
Okay, so they've all got cavalry spears, weapon skill 3, so you need 4 to hit.
Okay, that's quite nice.
And then it'll be strength 4, so 4 to wound.
Yep.
Not as nice.
2 wounding hits, it's a shame.
On AP 1.
So 5s to armor save. 1 saved. 1 more orc boy is taken out. The War Boss then. Oh no, you got your skeleton horses.
So 4 to hit. A lot of 2s.
5s to wound. Nothing. Okay. The War Boss, 5 attacks, hit on 3s.
4 attacks.
3 hits total. Strength 5 for the War Boss, so 3s to wound. That is 3 wounding hits. These are all at AP -2, thanks to a combination of choppers and the Evil Sun Shining.
You only get choppers on the charge.
Oh, pardon me, AP -1 then.
AP 1. So they have the 4-up save, so 5s.
All 1 goes through.
And regen. 1 takes 1 wound.
Okay. They are how many wounds apiece?
3 wounds.
Okay, so 2 wounds left on one of the skeleton chariots. That takes my score up by 2, however. Then, let's look at the attacks I've got. So I've got the 2 ranks, each of 6. So that will be 12 attacks when we account for the champion and the displaced war boss who's already fought. And we've lost 2 guys. So that's going to drop that down from 12 attacks to 10 attacks. These 10 attacks are 4s and 5s, re-rolling 1s to hit. So 4 re-rolling 1s. 1 re-roll. Excellent. We like that. That is 6 successful hits. But 5s to wound. 1 wound, AP -1, thanks to the Evil Sun Shining.
No. And the regen. No, so it takes a wound.
Okay. Another wound done. This means, at the end of all of that, are skeleton chariots open or close order?
Open order.
Okay, so I have got a close order. I have got first charge?
No.
1, 2, 3 ranks. I have a banner, and I have an outnumber. So that puts us at 9 in Orc's favour to 2. Sorry, I've missed one of the wounds that was dealt in the Skeleton Chariot's favour. So the Skeleton Chariots have had 7 wounds. There we go. And they will drop back 2 inches, and my orcs will follow up. We have lost the cavalry spear over here, so my war boss coming in, my big boss, sorry, not war boss, coming in with his 3 attacks. He makes 1 hit against Settra due to his higher weapon skill. And we are looking at a strength of 5, I think it is, on a big boss. Or is it 4 on a big boss?
5.
5 on a big boss, so that's missed the tray. So that is a failed wound, unless Settra's toughness 5.
T5.
Oh, he is, so that's 1 wound against Settra.
No AP.
No AP.
So this is 4-up save. 5-up ward.
Okay. And then it's all at the same time, so I'll hand over to James with priority for his turn.
So 5 attacks, re-rolling 1s. Full hit. All wounds.
Right. AP -3. So we've got 2 dead guys. That leaves us with 3 wounds left to resolve. The big boss is in full plate with a shield and a board. He is on a 2-up save, so he's got 3 5-ups to make, and he's got 2 wounds total. Making not a single 5-up, Settra has annihilated that unit. But we do get a last hurrah. We got 3 balls, which make a single hit and no wound. And we've got 3 attacks from the unit guys as they fight at the same initiative time, scoring no hits. So the Boar Squad and the Big Boss have been annihilated. Is Settra going to be overrunning or trying to restrain himself?
I will overrun.
Overrunning 8 inches. He has caught the foe, so he can make a reform roll. Leadership check to achieve it. I don't think he's going to fail.
Yes,
He does fail. No need for Settra the Imperishable. It's time for Settra the Impatient. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Okay, so the Tomb Scorpion, he has weapon skill 4 against the Bone Grinder, which is
Weapon skill 3.
So we are 3 to hit.
Oh, okay.
Strength 5 on toughness 6.
So 5 to wound.
1 wound.
Okay, AP 1 at least, I presume.
AP 2.
Yeah, so the light armor on the Bone Grinder is nullified. Damage?
1 damage.
Cool. So that'll be tasty 9 wounds remaining on the Bone Grinder. But perhaps more importantly for us, 1 combat resolution handed over to the Tomb Scorpion. So now, the Necrosphinx has got Monster Slayer on those swords, isn't it?
Okay, so the Necrosphinx has 5 attacks with his cleaving blades and then gets to do a decapitating strike afterwards. He is weapon skill 4, so he's hitting on 3s. Strength 5.
6s then. Oh no, 4s rather.
4s.
5s rather.
1 at AP -1.
No wound, sorry, no save.
Then he has his decapitating strike, which hits. So that is 1 at AP -4.
Okay, that's just another wound taken. All right, this means that we get to go into the fun of the Bone Grinder Giant. So James, can you call up the giant list of things? And he's going to go into that Necrosphinx, which I believe is a bigger thing. We roll a d6 on the table. That is a 1. We get a wallop. The Bone Grinder Giant grasps its 2-handed club and cracks its enemy on the head. It makes a single attack against the target. For this attack, the Bone Grinder's Giant Club has a strength of +3, so strength 10, AP of -4, and the multiple wounds 2d3. Well, we're looking at a 4 to hit. And then after there, I think we're pretty much smooth sailing.
So not auto hit.
He makes a single attack against the target.
Okay.
4 to hit. 4 to hit. There we go. Success. So, at strength 10, with strength 7 +3, we're looking at a 2 to wound. That is only just a wound at AP -4.
That cuts through the heavy armor.
How many wounds does this boy have?
6 wounds.
So, if I roll... Oh, it's 2d3, so I've got a good chance of just killing this in a single blow. Oh, there we go. 3 wounds, taking it to half health. Well, we'll see what the regen says. 6s, right?
5, so he takes 2 wounds.
2 wounds, but that's 3 to the Bone Grinder. And now we can both move into our stomp attacks.
So my Necrosphinx gets d3 +2 for 3.
Okay.
So I need 5s to wound. Nothing.
And my Bone Grinder is going to get d6 +1. So 3 as well. But it's strength 7 against toughness.
Toughness 6.
I'm going to need 3s to wound. That is 3 successful wounds. No AP because we're both behemoths.
So that is heavy armor, 5 up.
And then 2 5-up armor regen saves. Both failed. Another 2 wounds go to the Bone Grinder.
And the Tomb Scorpion gets d3 stomps for 1. So he needs 5. No, nothing from him.
Okay. At the end of that combat, what's the scores there?
Green has 5 and I have 3.
So that's going to be 2 wounds suffered by the units there.
So I'm Indomitable 2, so I just go back 2 inches.
Ooh. Let's see. It's my turn now, so I'm going to try and restrain with the giant. Leadership of 10. He's going to fail that. He's going to follow up straight into them. He says, "What's this tactics thing? We're not doing that. I want to fight both of them." So at the end of turn 2 for the Tomb Kings, the Priest King is off in the middle of nowhere. The giant has pushed everything back, and the Skeleton Chariot charge has failed. Over on the right-hand flank, from my perspective, we can see that there has been some moderate success with the Tomb Kings and their attack. Therefore, we can head into the start of Orcs turn 2. very simply, what's going to be happening this turn is, I mean, first of all, we lost 4 guys to a movement of the elemental spirit. What are you going to do about it? We're going to try and dispel it, is the answer. These orcs are going to stay fighting. We're not going to call a war with them. No point. Over here, we're going to do a double charge into the Tomb Guard, see if we can try and do something there. This boar chariot is going to get out of the way. These trolls are going to hopefully pass their stupidity, and if they do, they will wheel around heading after those Ushabti. If they can't pass their stupidity, they will do what stupid things do. We will try to rally our good friend, the Rock Lobber. I'm not feeling confident about it, and the Doomdive will not shoot this turn on account of it having a crew member garmed up in the mechanisms. They will release his corpse this turn, and then we'll get into the regular fighting. As far as charges are concerned, I've obviously got these 2 over here that I mentioned, and I've got this boar chariot over here going after the Tomb Scorpion. But it's just occurred to me, we're going to cast Evil Sun Shining, and here we go. End of the movement phase. We've got the charge as successful here. The flee happened down here on the Rock Lobber. It stayed just on the table. The goblins have dropped back a little bit from the elemental spirit, which we were not able to dispel. The giant has obviously stayed where he is. The trolls passed their stupidity and have marched forwards, getting ready to face down those Ushabti. Orcs obviously stayed where they are. Boar chariot has lumbered forwards and turned to face the oncoming skeleton Tomb King chariots. And our shaman has marched over here to give Evil Sun Shining as a buff to these forces over here. With no shooting to do, we can head, except for resetting the Doomdiver, we can head into the fight phase. That's a pretty basic fight. I'm not too worried about that. This one here could be interesting, so we'll see if the giant, who is going at the same time as the Tomb Scorpion, I think, both initiative 2 or 3 rather.
Initiative 3, yep.
Yep. So they'll fight at the same time. Hopefully the giant can kill off the big nasty monster slayer dude. I think we will roll out this combat over here because giants are always fun to watch in combat. Starting at that combat there, as we said, it's equal initiative between me and the Tomb Scorpion, so I'll take the moment with the giant to roll a d6 on bigger things. That is a 4. It is different to last time. Mighty Swing. The target units have this d6 plus 1 hits from the Bone Grinder Giant's club. d6 plus 1 is 2 hits of strength plus 1, so strength 8, so 2's to wound. That is 2 wounds at AP minus 2.
So straight through onto the regen save. No.
Okay, but that's quite useful. The orcs definitely needed to do that, otherwise things are going to go badly.
Okay, so the Tomb Scorpion.
Yeah, let's see if we can plink some wounds onto that giant.
He gets 4 attacks. Hitting on 3. Wounding on 5s. Nothing.
Okay. D6 plus 1 stomps. 4 stomps. That will be 4 wounds, AP minus 2, because I presume he's just either monstrous infantry or something like that?
Yes.
Or is he a monstrous creature?
Monstrous creature.
Okay, then just straight, no AP.
So that is the 5-up save.
2 saves, and then 6-up regen. No, 2 wounds go through.
I have my D3 stomps.
Okay.
5s.
Oh, okay.
2 at no AP.
6s to save. Neither saved. So 2 wounds onto the giant, 2 wounds onto the scorpion. 6 wounds left on that giant. Could get sniped by the Ushabti, interestingly. So that's going to be, I presume the scorpion's got Indomitable at least 1?
Yes, but he's taken 2 wounds.
There's only 3 wounds on the dude, is he?
Yes, so he's 3 wounds, so he is dead.
We will overrun with the giant, I think. 10-inch overrun. That's called Goodbye Skeleton Archers. And then we can move over to the other giant on the table. We will begin with the giant. We roll a d6 to determine his attack. That is a cocked die. That is an out of the tray die. That is another out of the tray die. That is a 6. So the giant jumps up and down. So d6 plus 1 strength, 6 attacks. 2 attacks, 2 wound. 1 wound. No armor save, so just 6 up regen.
No, 1 dead.
He's not undead, he's 1 dead. Then we've got the Goblin Orc Raiders. Starting off with the spiders. They have achieved 2 successful hits.
1's poison.
1 is poison, which is quite nice. They are strength 3, so that means that they would be winning on 5. So a 3 up to wound with the poison attack, and a 5 up to wound with the bite attack. 1 wounding hit.
So that's a 4 up save. Save. Hammer from shield.
Marvelous. Then we've got 6 attacks from the goblins with their cavalry spears. We've got 2 poison attacks, and we've got.
You'll be hitting on 5s because I'm weapons skill. No, it's not double +1.
We need to consider as well the evil sun shining. We need to consider as well the evil sun shining means that you are AP -1.
Okay.
Don't think it mattered there. Might matter in future. So, strength 4, that's your toughness 4, is 2s to wound. 2 wounds at AP -1, -2 rather, with after the cavalry spears.
So that's 6 up, 6 up. And then another 6 up.
And then the non-poison attack, wounds at AP -2. But it is regenerated. So that was 3 wounds total.
Yep, so 2 of them need to come out. Yep.
There we go. And it's their attacks back now. 4 of them are in base contact with the giant. So we'd have to go there.
Okay, we'll do.
I say 4, those are the 2 ranks.
Yep, 2 rank. The 4 will go into the giant, and then the 8 -3, so 5, including the champion, will go into the
Goblins.
goblins. Yes.
Yeah, goblins are weapon skill 2, but you're not weapon skill 5, are you? So it's not going to matter. It's just 3s to hit all round for you.
Okay, so that is 5 and the champion. So this will be hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s from Settra, not needed. Strength. Strength 4.
Yep.
Yes,
It'll be
strength 4. So that's 5 at AP1.
5 at AP1 on the goblins. They do have light armor and shields, so 6 to save. Not a single one. That is a whole rank of goblins eviscerated. That's what you expect from them, to be honest.
Then we have 4 attacks going into the giant, hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s to hit. 1 hit.
Okay.
Strength 4.
Toughness 6, so 6 is the wound.
Nothing.
No, excellent. And then I've got D6 stomps from the giant. 3 stomp attacks, winning on 2s. 2 wounds, AP -2.
So 6s and 6s.
Ho-ho!
2 regens.
Fortunately, though, that regen ticks me up to 6 points. I don't have any close orders available to me, but I do have a banner from my spiders, and you have a banner, and you have 2 ranks, because I don't have first charge over here, and
a close order.
You have a close order, and I believe you may even have an outnumber. So
I'm unit strength 17.
And I'm only 10 plus 6 is 16, so you outnumber me by an point. So let's take a look. Leadership check on the goblins. That's a goner. Leadership check on the giant. That is not a goner because he's leadership 10.
Nice.
So the giant will he'll fall back in good order though. So let's take a look at the fallback. Well, are you going to pursue?
I will test restrain.
You're going to test a restraint. Let's see your restraint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leadership 10 from Settra.
Thank you. So best of 2d6 for the giant. He's going to go back 5 inches, and the goblins are going to flee 4 inches. Tomb King's turn 3.
So Settra, he failed to get Incantation of Cursed Blades off, but he did My Will Be Done for the +1 weapon skill. The Mortuary Priest over here, he did get his reroll ones to hit spell off. And this priest over here, he failed to get his incantation of Cursed Blades off. The Tomb King on Bone Dragon, he went for the extra movement. He got extra 2-inch movement.
Okay. And I can see that you've got a charge being declared across here.
Yes, we also have a charge. He's going to go into the side of the Doom Diver.
I'll have to do a terror check there.
The skeletons are going to try and will flank charge the Bone Giant.
Okay.
These skeletons will charge the Boar Boys. Not Boar Boys, the regular boys. And the Tomb Guard Chariot's going to charge into the Boar Chariot and hopefully kill that and overrun into the side.
Okay, over here.
And Settra is charging the Giant, and the Tomb Guard are going to charge the Spider Riders.
Those Spider Riders are already fleeing, so they must continue to try to flee. So they're going to go ahead and, I mean, even with 2d6, that's what, 3 inches? So it would be, wouldn't it? I've got a little Old Age of Sigmar widget here. Sacrilege, I know, for the game system. Would you look at that?
Just on
the table.
So.
And so what we will do now is we will roll up these charges. You know, might as well do a Doom Diver terror check. That is a complete fail. So the Doom Diver will flee as well from the dragon 5 inches and will come back where everything is set up and done. End of the movement phase. Is this end of the movement phase? Yes. Charge was just unsuccessful, so the goblins are still alive. If they do rally, then we'll run them that way. If not, then they're dead. Settra has made it in over here. Tomb Guard have made it in over there. Skeletons have made it in over there. Trolls are doing nothing. Skeletons made it into the flank of the giant over here. The dragon caught the fleeing Doom Diver and has turned to face tastier goblin prey. Shooting-wise, it's pretty basic. It's 2 big units of Ushabti shooting into the trolls. One of them can see straight down the highway, and the other can see thanks to moving sideways onto the hill. So, while we're here, let's just throw down and see what happens to the trolls.
Hitting on 4s. We have 2 hits.
Okay, that's better.
Choose the wound. So that's 2 at AP 1.
So 6s, 1 saved, fail, and then 5 up regen. Excellent. The trolls survive. And with that, we will be moving on into the fight phase. Now, one of the really impressive fights is going to be right here. We're going to see a bunch of impact hits, and if they kill this chariot, the Tomb Guard are going to overrun into the side of these Orc boys and create a huge battle in the middle, which could pretty much tell the end of the Orc campaign.
Tomb Guard Chariots get D3+1 impact hits.
3, 5, 7, 10 impact hits. These are at strength 4, so you need 5 to wound. Any AP on a Tomb Guard chariot, or are they still just light chariots?
Still light chariots, so there is 4 at no AP.
4 up armor saves mean that on average we are dead here. However, like that, we have managed to survive to an wound. The Tomb Guard do come in with halberds, right?
Yes.
Which are plenty of strength, plenty of AP.
So I'll be at weapon skill 4 because of Settra giving
so that's
+1.
3s to hit me. Oh no, okay. And then your strength 5, so 4 to wound. 3 wounds there at, I think they're AP 3, because they've got AP -2, I think, on the charge, and then you've got the armor bane as well. So I don't think I get any save against that. This Orc chariot is a goner. Let's see how those guys overrun.
I will Swift Ride.
9, 11 inches, that's just called Kaslam. And this here is going to be an interesting combat all its own right. Now, they have gone at least 3 inches because of the length of the chariot. So the highest initiative probably goes to the Tomb Guard chariots. I expect initiative 6 there.
Yes.
So let's see some more impact hits. That's a little bit nicer than the last one. What's that? 2, 4,
7.
7. Okay. But these are strength 4 into toughness 4, so 4's to wound. 3 wounding hits.
No AP.
We didn't charge, so we all hand weapon shield. No saves, so that's 3 orcs dead. Leave those 2 there like that. Now, these 3 orcs have died from this fighting rank, so I'm just going to leave that movement trade there to denote that. Weapon skill 4 then against weapon skill 3. So 3's to hit.
So strength 5.
Yep, so 3's to wound.
2 wounds at AP 3. AP 2.
AP 2 because no armor bane. So 6's to save. No saves. That's another 2 dead. That is the whole of the flank killed by the tomb guards.
And I have 6 horses to go.
Go on. That's okay. But 5's to wound now.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. The skeleton warriors, being only initiative 2, are going to be fighting at the same time as my war boss. But the big question is, does the Hierophant have initiative 3?
Initiative 2.
The war boss will be coming in with his 5 attacks, thanks to his additional hand weapon. Okay, he's obviously fighting into the skeleton warriors, so he is hitting on 2s against their weapon skill of 2. All hit. And at strength 5, we are wounding on 2s, which is he's not within range for the reroll number, which is on hits anyway, so it doesn't matter. So that is 4 wounding hits at AP 0. Light armor, shield, hand weapon is 4's to save. 2 skeletons suffer wounds, and neither of them regenerate. Okay. This means we can now progress into the skeleton warriors and the Hierophant. 3 attacks for the surviving skeleton warriors. Just a regular priest is only going to be 1 attack. So the 4 attacks total, hitting on 4s.
I'll do them separate because they don't have AP and the priest has Kopesh.
Excellent. Okay, 4 hits from the skeletons. 2 wounds from the skeletons. 4's to save. 1 saved, 1 goes through. And then the priest.
Hits.
That won't be a wound, he's only strength 3, he's just the baby priest. Now we can look at the orcs that are left to attack. This whole flank here got killed. So I've got these 3 guys who can put attacks into the Tomb Guard chariots. I don't really want to do that, I want to focus into the weaker skeleton warriors. So just these 2 are going to fight the Tomb Guard chariots. That's 2 attacks. Scoring 1 hit, and at strength toughness 4, I'm going to need a 5 to wound. That is no wound. This then leaves us with these 2 guys are dead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and he's dead over here. So 9 attacks. 5, 9. Okay. Against the skeletons, we're hitting on 3s. No rerolls, fortunately for James. It's going to be wounding on 4s. Strength 3 against toughness 3. That is a single wounding hit with no armor piercing, so a 4-up armor save.
Saved it.
This is not good for the orcs. So, we need to look at what combat resolution is going to happen here. 2 wounds have been done by the orcs into the various units. That is not great. 6 wounds have been done into the orcs. The Tomb Guard then have a flank, and I believe they have a banner.
Yes.
They are close order.
They're open order, but they're close
open
order, so they get 1 for that.
So you've got close order, at least from the skeletons. You've got 2 ranks from the skeletons, which is going to send us up to 11. We have an outnumber going to one side or the other. So yeah, we got 6, 8, 12, 18, and there's only 20 there. But there are 3, 6, 9 here. So no outnumber is going to either side. I don't get to call on any rank bonuses,
You've been disrupted.
because you're in my flank with a unit strength of 10 or 5 or greater, because I'm only a regular infantry. I do believe I've lost combat by 9. So let's see the leadership check. That is a flee by default, even on the war boss's leadership. So what's going to happen here?
I will pursue with the Tomb Guard chariots because they have swift stride and
Okay.
more likely to catch you.
Cool. And I'm going to flee from the greatest unit strength, which is the Skeleton Warriors. They're going to flee back this way. We're going to flee 7 inches.
I'm going to pursue.
5, 7 plus 2 is 9. So let's take a look at where this ends up. So this is the Orcs after their flee, but before the Tomb Guard move. The Tomb Guard turn about their center, and then they'll go 9 inches forwards, easily clicking onto the side there. And that will be all of the Orcs and the War Boss dead. Little bit of unexpected joy. We decided to start this combat, and we rolled up the Giant's result, and it was crush underfoot. So the large pie plate came out right over there, doesn't scatter. So everyone in that unit is hit, all 21 guys. However, 9 of them are only partial covers. So they only risk being hit. So let's see, 9 4-ups to land some hits, and one of them is going to be the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is hit. Does he look outside? He does. Then we've got the remaining 8 guys who are normal skeletons, of whom 4 are not hit. So in essence, we have managed to hit
5.
All bar 4 of the 21, and they're all regular skeletons. So that would be 17 of them. One of them is the unit champion. Does he want to look out, sir? Cool. So these are going to be 17 wound rolls of ridiculous wounding values against the skeleton warriors there. These are resolved at the strength of the model, AP minus 3.
Go straight through.
2s to slaughter. Not a single one. So that's going to be 17. Do you want to just roll these dice?
Yep.
17 on 6s to regenerate.
I got 2.
So 15 skeleton spearmen have just been crushed underfoot, as the name of the rule implies. That's a reasonable amount of combat res for me, isn't it? Specifically, 17 combat resolution.
Okay, so I get 10 attacks.
You got no attacks of the skeleton spearmen. They've all been crushed.
Yes, 10 attacks from the bowman. And I'll be hitting on 4s.
What are you doing over there? There's a dice tray for a good reason.
So I've got 3 hits, and I need 6s. I got 1.
1, 6 up armor save. No. That is 1 point to the Tomb King.
Then I have the unit champion.
Oh, yep, he does live.
2 hits.
Yep. 6s. Nope.
No.
And the Kopesh wielding chappie, he does hit. 6 to wound.
No.
Ah, wrong side of the die. Well, with that, the you do have a flank and a banner. You do have a close order. They don't, because they're open order, aren't they, archers?
Yes.
So, you do have a rank with them, however. So that is 13 crumble. So both units completely evaporate.
Not the highest amount of crumble I've ever sustained. That was at the Leeds GT last weekend, where it was at 43 skeletons crumbled.
Oh, that's not reasonable.
It was a block of 60.
Well, I hadn't intended to film this until we realised we were going to get something like 21 attacks. So I think we will come back to you once the rest of the combat is done. Okay, the boars managed to eat the scorpion, and we can see that we forgot a stomp over there, so a couple of extra guys have died, leaving that priest on 1 wound. Fortunately, the Hierophant is safe over here. The battle between Settra and the giant ended in a stalemate of 4 wounds apiece. However, Settra's regeneration save did overtime. Unfortunately, when we come to the end of this, we see that orcs are now below 50%, which means for this mission, they all break and flee. So every orc unit is now considered to be fleeing. So we'll turn them all around and start making flee moves for them. More importantly, perhaps, is now we see that the Priest King does not accept the might of Settra and believes he could have won this by himself. Foolishly, perhaps, I reckon, given what we just saw over here. And so he turns against Settra. From this point onwards, Settra will have to fight against the Priest King, and we need to roll off to see who of them will be taking the first turn. So I will be taking control of the Priest King's forces, therefore the Orc dice will be mine. Priest King brings a 2, Settra brings a 5, so Settra will take control of the turn now, and at the start of the turn, all Orc units will begin to make a flee, and then before the start of Settra's turn, Orc units will continue to flee. Points can still be scored from them, so if you choose to charge an Orc unit and run it down, that points will go to that player. As we head into this phase, the Priest King has managed to achieve 95 points, whereas Settra is sitting on 520, so it's an uphill battle for the Priest King. Stepping forwards, it's now a battle between Settra, his Tomb Guard, his Ushabti, and his Tomb Guard chariots against the Priest King's Skeleton Warrior Regiment, these Ushabti, this priest, and the Priest King himself. Points-wise, definitely in the favour of Settra. However, victory points-wise can be scored fairly easily by the Priest King's side if they are smart about it. So, what's Settra just done in his turn? Of course, he's healed himself back to full health. On top of that, he attempted to give a reroll 1's aura, but has failed. And so, we find ourselves in a position where actually Settra doesn't have the ability to make any charges into anything belonging to the Priest King. So what charges will Settra make?
He won't be making any, so I think he's going to beeline for the Hierophant.
Okay, so Settra's plan is to get over to this guy here and kill him. So let's see where movement ends up. We've got a reform with the Tomb Guard. Settra has moved forwards, moved up to pass and +1 movement onto the Tomb Guard, who have 180 with a turn maneuver. Moved forwards, reserve moved, turned. Then we've got the Ushabti Bows, who moved up and tried to shoot the giant, hit but didn't wound. And that then summarizes all of Settra's turn 1. Priest King, round 2, turn 1. Okay, we've done some casting, we've done some spells. We didn't get Cursed Blades because Settra double 6'd on with this spell. We did heal some guys back up so that we have the full unit here. Over there, we got +2 inches of movement with our My Will Be Done. And we didn't try anything over here. It's going to be an interesting turn. Hierophant is going to charge the giant. Skeletons are going to charge the trolls. Dragon is going to charge the goblins. And we're going to drop at the start of our phase the... we don't need to because the dragon doesn't get hurt by it, but I think we'll drop it regardless. The goal here is to score the points for the giant, score the points for the troll, score the points for the goblins, and take this from us being like 400 and something points behind to, if not ahead, then right up there with you. After that, we'll be looking at throwing shots with the Ushabti over into probably the Tomb Guard chariots. And we won't have any fights to do, so that will be the end of the turn. So we'll come back to you with what it's like after the Ushabti have shot. So we've managed to take out the giant by charging the Hierophant forwards with its pathetic flee roll of 2 inches. However, the trolls hoofed it out of there, as did the goblins. The Ushabti fired shots at the Tomb Guard chariots, but scored no successful wounds. At the end of that, therefore, the Priest King has managed to rocket up to 395 points to Settra's 520.
Settra has cast My Will Be Done and got 2 inches extra movement, and he has got his incantation of Cursed Blades off for the reroll 1s to hit, which will affect the Tomb Guard chariots. So we're going to see if they can both charge into the Skeletal Warriors in order to kill the Hierophant and crumple the army. And then the Ushabti will charge the remaining goblins who lost a lot running through the Tomb Guard chariots.
Okay, do you want to just roll the flee roll on the goblins? Or we must, yeah, because they got to do their response first, haven't they?
Yeah.
So the goblins flee roll.
3 inches.
That will tuck them back through the other side of the Tomb Guard chariots. So the goblins fled through the Tomb Guard chariot, which means we are pretty savvy, to be honest. I think we're going to start with Settra's charge. Is that right?
Yes. So the goblins had fled, so this is the charge roll for the Ushabti. They go 7 inches forwards.
We will deal with that on the assumption they can only go about 4 inches forwards.
The Tomb Guard chariots have +1 movement, so it'll be movement 9.
Excellent.
And with Swiss Stride. That is not a good roll. So that would be 15 inches.
15, probably a fail, but we'll take a look.
And Settra will be going 9, 3 is 12. So Settra also fails his charge.
Okay, that was nasty. So they failed it by half an inch. Those Tomb Guard chariots failed it by half an inch. Settra failed. The Tomb Guard over there, they fled backwards, which means because they tried to charge, the Ushabti can't shoot. So that's the end of Settra turn 2. Priest King turn 2? Yeah, Priest King turn 2. We've failed to cast Dijaf's Cursed Intimidation of Blades, or whatever it's called, several times, and our Mortuary Priest managed to heal himself up to full. Here's what we're going to be doing. The dragon is going to declare a charge into the Tomb Guard chariots, and then we're going to use the fact that the Ushabti are on the hill to shoot them with the Ushabti, because I'm going to have Settra's line of sight blocked with the Ushabti, so we can't shoot him. And these Skeleton Warriors are going to reform by doing a bit of a move and a turn to be in a better position. And we might even disembark the Mortuary Priest so we can try and just tar pit something. So 2d6. Oh, hang on. Quick, my will be done. So 2d6 for my will be done.
Yes.
Okay, d3 extra movement.
1.
Cool. And then 2d6 for the charge roll and d6 for Swift Stride. 5.
That was 5.
That was 5, yeah.
And 1, so that's 6 plus 10. 16.
So 16. That's probably going to be in. Yeah, nice and easily, right?
Yeah, so that'd be 2-inch wheel.
And then,
yeah.
All right, on the money.
Those are in. Okay.
And we'll come back to you with everything else. So at the end of my movement and shooting, Ushabti have shot the Ushabti. Nothing done. Hierophants have moved up. Priests have moved up to support the skeletons. The skeletons are standing strong, and the Tomb King is into the Tomb Guard chariots. We're looking forwards to victory. Tomb King into the Tomb Guard chariots. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s with his cavalry spear. That is only going to be 2 hits, but strength 6 total.
Yeah, 6.
Is going to be 1 wounding hit at -1.
Saved.
Okay, then we've got 6 attacks from the Necrolith Bone Dragon. Striking like that, I mean, it's weapon skill 4, right?
Yeah, hit on 3s.
So 3 hits. Fortunately, wounding on 2s with AP2. That is 2 wounding hits at -2, so 6s. Neither. And 6s again. Neither. So 1 wound left on 1 chariot. And then you've got 1 chariot's worth of attacks back into me.
That's 2 attacks, hitting on 4s.
Both hit.
Strength.
Tomb Guard, so it's 4 plus 1 for halberd 5, so a 5 will wound. That's fail on the armor save, and then a fail on the regeneration save. So 1 wound taken on the guy that's... Is that 9 wounds remaining?
8 wounds remaining.
And then you've got 2 horses. You want to roll those for you?
I can do the horses.
1 hit. No wound. D6 stomps, is it +1? Flat, so 6 stomps. Strength, well, wounding on 2s. 4 wounding hits at AP -2. That's a little bit better.
That's his 6 ups.
Oh no! 1.
No.
No, okay. So that is 1 chariot now dead. Right, because that was 3 wounds gone through to it.
Yep.
So, combat resolution wise, let's make green the upstart and red Settra, given the color motifs going on. We're looking at
2 wounds, 3 wounds.
Yep, I did 3 wounds, and Settra's guys did 1 wound. Then we are looking at, I have a flank. Neither of us have a close order anymore, but you do have a banner. So therefore I win by 2. I believe you might be Indomitable 1 with Tomb Guard Chariots.
Indomitable 2.
Indomitable 2. So you just drop back the 2 inches, and I will try to restrain, to be honest, because I don't want to be flank charged by Settra. That is a successful restrain, and so we will repoint ourselves like that. Not ideal,
No.
I think, is the way I would phrase that. Not ideal. That brings us to the end of this turn. I picked up no extra points across this turn. With this being turn 3 in round 2, this is the final chance for Settra to score points. So just talk us through what's going to be happening in your turn, James, and then we'll show the viewers at home.
Settra is going to do his My Will Be Done and try and get Jaff's Blades off, and then charge the Bone Dragon.
Okay.
They are within range, so I might be able to try and charge the Ushabti in for that flank, just for the extra combat res and potentially extra damage.
Yep. And we've actually not fled the units yet, so the goblins will be completely out of the way.
Yeah, and then I will try and get the Tomb Guard Chariots into the Ushabti.
Just to see what comes about of it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll cycle back once challenges have been resolved. Well, I'll tell you what, life has decided to be exciting. The Tomb Guard made it into the Ushabti made it into the Priest, and Settra, or the Priest King rather, and Settra just could not fail. So, which combat do you want to begin with?
We will go with, start with Settra.
Settra into the upstart Priest King.
So Settra will be going first, and he gets hit.
I'm going to issue a challenge to Settra.
Can't refuse.
No.
Settra can't refuse.
So, I mean, this is the moment you really want, isn't it? The upstart Priest King, having refused to kneel before Settra, now faces him in single combat at the eve of the battle.
So, I get my impact hits, 2d3.
That's pretty good.
So, looking for 5s. 1.
Only 1?
At AP2.
Okay. 6 up armor save. Try that again. 6 up armor save. And 5 up regeneration. No. 1 wound has gone through onto the Priest King.
So I'll be hitting on 3s.
Okay.
Ouch.
I approve of this message.
1 at AP3.
Okay, 5 up regeneration. Made. But it's still a ratcheting point. We're going to put Settra on green this time just because it's in his direction. And then his 4 horses.
That counts as an unsaved wound.
Yes.
So I now -1 to hit from Blessed Blade of Petra.
Nasty, nasty, nasty. Okay, fair enough.
But the 4 horses, of course, they will hit.
6 is to wound.
No.
Right, we've got 4 attacks with the Priest King.
Yes.
He will draw his hand weapon. On weapon skill 6, your weapon skill 7, so normally 4s, but that's 5s to hit.
5s to hit.
Brutal, man. 1 hit. At strength 5, that's not going to be a wound, is it?
No, you need 4s to wound.
And then we've got the Noctilith Bone Dragon. He is weapon skill 4, so he would be 4s to hit, but is now 5s, as you said, as before. No hits from him, which means it's just a stomp onto Settra's head. D6 stomp attacks. 1. That is a wound at -2, however.
So that's 6, 5, 5. Saved it.
Okay. So, all in all, this isn't good for me. Settra has managed to get a flank. So that's 3-0. I'm indomitable 2, so I suffer 1 wound, and I will drop back 2 inches in the combat like this. Settra is the only one who can follow up.
I will follow up with Settra.
And so here we have it. One of the Ushabti has died. Settra has been victorious somewhat and pushed the Priest King back. Let's go into the Priest King's final turn and look at the final scores. Priest King, round 2, turn 3. This is very interesting. We're going to go ahead and try and cast the Plague of Rust onto Settra the Imperishable. We have achieved it with an 11 to cast. Settra is in combat and so cannot try to dispel, so double 6 on the Fated, please. Ooh, halfway there, but the other dice let you down. And now we're going to try and fish for some healing. So the first priest is just within range of the character. He fails, and the other priest succeeds, healing our guy from our priest king from 6 wounds remaining up to 7. Skeletons are going to try and charge into Settra's flank for some combat res, and that's that. So, tell you what, let's go ahead and try to roll that charge on camera. 3 and that's a cock. So 3 and a 3, so that's going to be 7 inches to try to achieve this. We're going to basically wheel this way a tiny bit and then try and skirt along and see if we tag and slam the door shut. We'll see where that ends up. And if I do so, I'll tag the goblins, and if the goblins are hit by a charge, they die, and I'll score the points for the goblins. But it doesn't look like I'm going to hit the goblins. No, I'm way short there, so just 3 inches straight forwards. Get stopped by the dragon even so. We'll just jump into the only combat that really matters, because this isn't going to be a kill one way or the other. So let's find out if Settra or the Priest King is laid low. I'll just do my attacks and then Settra can do his attacks.
Initiative 4 for the Tomb King.
Oh, the Tomb King gets to fight first. Excellent. So, 4 attacks hitting on 5s from the Tomb King. 1 hit and a 3 to wound. That is a wounding hit at -3 AP total. So, Settra's onto his 5-up ward save. Pass, of course. And then the dragon. 2 successful hits with the dragon. 1 successful wound at -4 AP, so 5-up ward. Goodness me, okay. And then Settra makes his attacks back. That is 4 hits from Settra. Wounding on...
Oz.
Ooh. 2 wounds. Okay.
83.
So 5-up regenerations. Neither regenerated. So that is 2 combat res given over to Settra, his horses.
No.
Nope. And then I've got D6 stomps to try to throw the tide. So 4 stomps. That is 4 AP -4. Thanks to Armor of Rust. 1 saved on the ward. 1 saved on the regeneration. So, all in all, Settra has saved 1 by regeneration and then taken 2 wounds himself. That's not enough to make him crumble. Even if I were to win the combat, I think that combat is within the indomitable thresholds for both sides. And so nothing has died at the end of that turn, which means when the game comes to an end, it remains to be 520 points to Settra and 395 points to the Priest King. I think that's a very good game, James.
Yes.
Settra has claimed victory of Settra Conquers, and we will talk to you more about it in the post-game.
Well, Legionaries, thanks very much for joining us for this game. I think it was really, really interesting. Settra takes 520 points, the Priest King 395. One of the interesting things to me, which I think could be used to explore maybe how we rework, if reworking needs to happen for that mission, is looking at the fact that the Priest King lost a lot of points. Settra didn't lose very many points, but I suspect it was the sort of the flank charge from Settra's chariots, which resulted in a lot of the points being scored by Settra. Should those points, because it was a combat that was comprised both of Settra's chariots but also the Priest King skeleton warriors, should they have been divided up somewhat there? What do you think to the game? How did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. I was very, from an orc perspective, I was interested to see how the giants, especially the Bone Grinder giant, did. That it can have a lot of output depending on the role you get, and then you combine that with the crumble effect that Tomb Kings suffer from. You can really wipe units. So when the Bone Grinder killed all those skeletons and nearly the Lich Priest off, that was interesting.
I mean, I was so happy when we saw the result. And it was 21 potential hits from the guy, of which, what was it? 12 of them were guaranteed. You know, that you don't get that kind of moment often, but it was really, really awesome.
Yeah, and if you don't do any damage back, those 12 kills quickly become 24 kills overall when you factored in the combat res.
Yeah, 100%. So, what do you think? Do you think the Priest King was, because when we got to the point where they turned on each other, it was 520 points to Settra to 95 points to the Priest King. Did you think the Priest King might have had too little going for him, or was it just bad luck on the day?
I think Settra struggled against the Priest King at the end, particularly with you when you have the auto-hitting stomps that can swing things in the Priest King's favor, especially when he had the -1 to hit debuff for the ongoing combat. The auto hits seem to get around that. So I think if it was carry on 1 or 2 more rounds, I think Settra probably may have lost that. However, he does have the advantage of healing himself up in combat.
That's true, but then of course we had the 2 priests nearby to help do that. But I suppose, how many wounds can Settra heal himself in close combat?
1 a turn.
1 a turn. Okay, so it's the same as the priests could do to the king. So in theory, they could have just stayed there, slowly grinding each other down for well over the course of a game.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah. What do you reckon to the Necro Sphinx? Because that could I mean, that had Monster Slayer in it, so it could have just completely taken out the Bone Grinder giant. Do you think things might have swung significantly if that had happened?
Yeah, I think with the majority of the Necrosphinx attacks being strength 5, putting it into it's great going into a block of infantry, or maybe something like the chariots, war machines, heavy chariots. It's good against that. But if you put it into anything toughness 6, the majority of the attacks aren't really going to wound. So you're sort of relying on the decapitating strike to get the 6 to instant kill the giant.
And if you had got that 6, what do you think would have happened with the game?
I don't think Settra would be able to take out the majority of the Priest King's army with that amount of force that he had left.
Yeah, okay.
So I think heavily in his favor.
We probably would have just ended up again in a duel, though, wouldn't we? A challenge between the Priest King and Settra. You know, if the Necro Sphinx was in close combat there as well, he would then just have been neutralized, unable to fight anything. So
yeah.
Well, I will be honest with you. I think orcs play perfectly great without any magic item upgrades. You know, orcs just seem to have the right sort of stat line to work. How did you find it with Tomb Kings, though?
I think the Tomb Guard, exceptional unit. I don't really think you need any add-ons to make them good. Same with the Tomb Guard chariots. I think they work exceptionally well with the number of impact hits that they can get. Regular skeletons, I think they struggle because they're at weapon skill 2. They can have the 4-up save, but overall, I don't think that they really have much going for them because they're getting hit on 3s, wounded on 4s. You have the AP from choppers if you get the charge. They're very slow. I think they struggle. They need a bit of support with the magic items.
Yeah, I definitely got that feeling watching and then eventually playing with the Priest King, that some of the punch that you kind of needed to break the enemy just didn't come about.
Yeah, I also found that with the Shabti with great bows, in a block of 3, they didn't really have any impact,
No.
even with shooting the trolls. I think they maybe did 1 or 2 wounds between the 2 blocks of 3. So I think having them in the larger block, potentially with a priest nearby with the Curse Blades spell to give you the reroll ones to hit, but I wasn't very impressed with what they were able to achieve.
No, 3 of them just couldn't provide any output really, which was a shame.
Yeah.
Right then. Well, that's Settra conquers, and indeed Settra has conquered. So our next game is going to take place in a few weeks' time. We're hoping to film it in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to get to see the first opportunity for you to make your own army list. 2,500 points for Settra to take to the battlefield against Archon the Black. How are you feeling about that one?
That'll be interesting. I will see what I can bring. I think
Excellent.
a block of 6 Ushabti, potentially a Bone Dragon to help guard Settra. I think there's some interesting things we can do with that.
I got plans to do some scratch building of terrain to build the Black Tower of Archon to act as the central objective for the battlefield. So that could be really exciting. And then viewers of the channel who have been watching the social media posts on YouTube will notice as well that I have shared pictures of a work in progress for Archon the Black on the Lich King's Chariot, which I think is going to be really awesome to throw down on the table and have a big character in Chariot off.
Yeah, I was impressed with the from game 1 the pyramid we built. So I'm curious to see how this tower will come out.
I'm also curious to see how this tower will come out. Most of all, whether or not I'll be able to get it done in time to get the video up. Because I'll tell you what, one of the things they don't tell you about running a YouTube channel is you're going to lose like a day or two to editing a video every week if you want to have a video out every week. And boy, do I wish that I started this in 2 months' time so that I could have a huge backlog of videos. But at the same time, a number of the improvements that we've made just wouldn't have come about if I hadn't had that immediate feedback. So it's been a double-edged sword. But we'll see if we can get the terrain done. I've got plenty of other projects that people are trying to get me to engage with. Star Wars Legion, for example. I've got people talking about Conflict 47 campaign. There is strong conversation about Necromunda on the channel.
Yeah,
40k we've burned out on. We've played 4 games of that and just reminded ourselves why we don't play 4 games of that. So that's holding off until some codexes come out so we can try and have a bit more of a enjoyable experience. So hopefully Old World will remain a steadfast part of the channel's identity going forwards, and therefore encourage me to make some of the investments that need to be made to get awesome terrain going. But
yeah, I have an Empire army to build and paint up as well. Going to go for a Reichland theme.
Okay, Reichland. Okay, so you got Reichland. I know some people with Nuln. I've got an Avaland/Solland one. Okay, I think we could very easily do Empire Civil Wars, maybe perhaps look at the Time of Strife or the Age of Kings. Not the Age of Kings, sorry, the Time of 3 Kings, 3 Emperors.
3 Emperors.
Yeah, the 3 Emperors. I mean, no, 3 Emperors is pre the Vampire Wars. There's a second one, the Anarchy. That's what it's called. After the Vampire Wars, where they go back to having their second civil war about who gets to be emperor. We can definitely do that, or we could see about getting a load of people together with Chaos and with Empire to do some stuff for the Great War against Chaos with Magnus the Pious as emperor. That would be really awesome. But those are plans for the future. You have today watched The Reign of a Million Years, Settra's Conquers. And thank you very much for joining us. Like and subscribe to the video. And please check out the description for the battle plan for this particular game. If you want to recreate it at home, I'm sure you'll have a fantastic time. Until then, see you.